After last week's tutorial on how to make these wonderful two polio, two panel folios, I finished it with Brad, and I put the Velcro on that I talked about in the video. But I also thought it would be fun if you could tuck in a little notebook. So I set about designing some little notebooks, and this is how it turned out. It's really fun. I put bullet journal pages in it. For You get with the kit to make your own journal, you get bullet pages, you get lined pages, and you get notes pages, so you can choose how to fill your journal. For today's demonstration, I'm only going to use blank paper. I think it's easier to see, but you can see that I designed another little folio, and it is the same layout. So I've put my brad on and my Velcro already. And here it is before getting the little journal piece in it. And so I am going to show you that there are two types of journals that you can make from the Make Your Own Journal kit. And one of them is going to be a 3x5 journal. Now, in order to do this, if you're wanting to do this with your own paper at home and you don't want to buy a kit or anything, this piece, the cover, you can just use regular paper that you get from paper packs. The cover itself is, you can see right there, 6.5, and the length should be 5.5. I make the covers bigger than the pages because, as you can see, when you put the pages in the cover, you need some leeway because they stick out a little bit. Now, once we get this sewn in, it won't be so far out, but I do like a cover to hang over the pages just a little bit. While I was making these, I discovered that some of the ways that I cut the paper ended up in 2.5x5 pieces that I could use for mini journals that could also go in this kit or in any other kit or just to have in your purse. And so this one starts out with a piece of paper or cardstock that is 5.25 inches, and then it is 2.75 inches long that way. And the paper itself is 2.5x5, because when you fold it in half, it becomes 2.5x2.5, and you get this tiny journal. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. One is you can sew it into the binding, and the other one is that you can glue it into the binding. I am not going to demonstrate the glue in today. I'm just going to show you how to sew it in. But here's an example of one that I did that has a glue in. So I sewed the binding together with a piece of paper on the outside, decorative paper, and then I glued the paper into the cover. So if you don't like your journals to have the thread on the outside of them, and you just want to have a clean, smooth cover, I'll show you what it looks like. There it is. That's the thread. Then you can glue in your binding. It works just as well. You can glue the whole thing, but it makes for bulkier pages. And so if you were going to glue the whole thing, what you would do is you would take your paper signature, you would fold it in half, okay, and then you take your middle papers and you glue this one to this one, okay, and then you have this page like this, and then you glue this one to this one, and and so on and so forth until you get to the end. Now, is this the most efficient way to do things? No. You could also glue them in the seam, which works, but it takes a long time to dry. And if you do that, I highly recommend using something like a large, here we go, clip to hold it together while it dries, like this. Get two of those. All right, so that's another way to do it. So let us do it and show you how this turns out. So the first thing you have to do, and I'm going to glue in over here. I have this piece of pretty paper that's not quite big enough to be a cover, but it'll be great for a glue in, and so those will be the end papers. And I'm doing it on this one because I had a misprint on the other side. It was supposed to print, it's supposed to print on the other side just a piece of pattern paper like that. And then when you glue it in, you already have built-in end pages. But this one I didn't turn over correctly on the printer. All right, so we're going to glue this one in. So we take off the cover, and then we glue. We need to get our pages pretty together before we are going to punch the holes. Now, I know people like certain types of stitches. What I'm going to show you is a pamphlet stitch, is what I use almost exclusively now. Eventually, I'm going to learn how to do some of the other stitches, but this one is the one that's working the best for me right now. Okay, so I take my awl, which I've put away, it's over here, and I can punch through these holes. And the reason that we do this is then we get a uniform hole punch through the whole thing. So I am going to do one here, and sometimes I will do all of them, but that takes longer to stitch. So I'm going to do this. 1, 2, 1, 2, every other one. And then if you don't end in the right place, like this one is too far out, I do add an extra one at the end. All right. And you've got most of it in it. Now you can see that there are holes in the binding. Okay. So this cover is ready to be stitched, or this signature is ready to be stitched. Okay. So I'm going to use this thread. This is 100% cotton thread. And it is like a neutral color, not white. It's embroidery floss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tease it apart so you can see there are, in embroidery floss, there's 6 strands. When I sew my book covers, I use 2 of these strands, so I have to separate it. And of course, since I'm doing it on camera, you think I'd never done this before. Okay, so you can see there's all these different ones, and I have a 2-strand piece right here. And I'm going to separate it from the rest of the strands. And you want to have a lot of, like a loose hold down there, and because it's going to all bunch up, right? And then I'm going to save this one for later. Oops. I'm going to save this one for later, okay? Then I have this one, which is my 2-strand. And I'm going to thread the needle that I have. Little note about needles. You don't want to use your thinnest needles. It's hard to get through the paper. So I picked up a copy of these yarn darners, and these make fantastic needles for sewing small signatures like this. So what we do is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes. So I'm going to go into hole number 4, the middle hole, and I'm going to push it through that hole, and it's going to come out the back side where I've already drilled the hole all the way through. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it through, and when I have about that much left, I'm going to hold onto that with my thumb, and I'm going to go back in through this way, and then I'm going to go right here, the next hole, and then I'm going to go back up over here. And if I can't find it, sometimes I can just find it by looking at where the hole is on this side. Sometimes I have to flip it over. All right, and then I'm going to go back. You can see there's a stitch here. Okay, I'm going to go back on all the places on the inside that don't have stitches, right? So you're catching them on the way back. And because you've already gone through them once, they're usually pretty easy to get through again. All right, now we're back at the middle. Okay, I'm still holding my strand right here. Pretty much once I pass this, I can let go of that strand. And then I can just flip it over. If I need to, sometimes I use a thimble. This one happens to be like rubber, and I like it because I also use it to count the pages. It picks up one at a time. Okay. All right, so then all the way down to the bottom where we put that extra stitch in just to get most of the book in stitches. Okay. Then here, back in here. All right, now you're done. And apparently I came out on the needle, so I'm going to put that back in. I need to get some needle threaders. I'm getting too blind to see them. Right. All right, when you come back up here and you can see that there is one piece missing right here, the reason that is because when you do your closure, you're going to pull that in. All right, so I am going to take my needle and I'm going to go underneath the first thread that I have on the other side of the needle. And now you can see that you have a whole thing. You have a whole stitch all the way. All right, now I'm going to tie it off using a square knot. So I take the smaller end and I put it over and through the big end. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other way, smaller end over and through the big one. And I'm done. Now, that was the easy. And now we go ahead and clip it off. You can clip it off pretty far down here. All right, have that over here. All right, now it is ready to be tucked in to its cover, okay? So we take the cover, make sure it's going the right way. We put our signature in there. Think about where we want it to go evenly. All right. And then I'm going to get out my glue. So today I'm using art glitter glue. This is just a nice PVA. I'm going to pour a tiny bit in here. That's about enough. Okay, I like to use the brushing method for glue when I'm making books, mostly because I think it gives even coverage, and so you get it in there the right way. So I'm just going to brush on the glue. And then I set it in the cover exactly where I want it. I pull the cover up and over and I smooth it. Okay, that side is in. And then I will do the back side. Same thing here. Okay, so for that one then, we do the same thing here. Press it in. Okay, and then it's done. There's your book. Okay, and you see there's the pretty paper on the inside. All right. And I thought that this paper did well with the black sort of space around it. And then you take your folio and you tuck that right in. And I thought that this would make a fun Mother's Day card slash gift. You can write little notes to your mom in there, but also give her a journal so she can, especially crafty moms like that kind of journal. Okay, so for this one, because it's going to be quick, the mini journal, I'm going to, I don't have to do nearly as many holes here, but what I do is make sure I'm in the middle, first of all. Get those pages all lined up with each other, and then line it up where I want with the book. All right, so this is all lined up the way I want it. I'm going to put my thing on there. And for this one, I am going to do a traditional 3-hole pamphlet stitch because it will be, I think, easy for it to hold it together. 1, 2, 3 pages. And the 3-hole pamphlet stitch does not take much thread or much. So I'm going to use this little strand. I should say the strand that I used before was 18 inches. And you could see I had lots left over. So I generally cut my threads to about 18 inches unless I'm going for a really long book with lots of stitches. Okay, so again, I'm going to thread this needle if I can ever do it. All right, this is leftover thread from another book I stitched up, and I hate to leave supplies unused, so I like to save them. Okay, see, and this you're going to see is so fast with like a little 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I'm going to hold that again the way that I did before. I'm going to go back through. Oh, maybe not. Sometimes if I can't find the hole on the other side, I take my needle and I poke it through. The needle itself can be used as an awl. So for example, if you don't have an awl and a cradle, a piercing cradle, you can just do this with a needle or a pair of scissors, but the yarn darners um, really work well for putting holes through paper. They have a nice heftiness to them that makes them work um, for putting in the holes if you need to. Plenty of times I've actually done that. All right. And then that one right through. It's a little harder to get through because it didn't go all the way through to the back when I punched it. All right. And then back again through the middle hole, then the bottom hole. Yep, there it goes. It's just the same thing here again. You tuck it under the one strand that's already in there, pull it through. Okay, and then small over big. So that one's not quite ready. All right, now it's ready. Okay, small over big and big over small. And that one is all set. I'm going to trim off my ends. Okay. All right. And I'm going to stick this one in here too. I'm going to put that on the other side. There we go. And now I've got a cute little folio folder with 2 journals in it and tags and ephemera and little cards or journal cards. So these are fantastic for gifts. And I will say that I found these brads available. I'm sure you can find them wherever you get your crafts. Or if not, I did buy them from Temu, I think. And they can probably be found on Amazon as well. But I've been finding great offers on Temu, so I've been shopping there a lot. All right, this is the whole package. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make your own little journal. And if you want covers and um, pretty paper or anything like that, you can visit my Etsy shop, which is Cozy Nerd Crafts at Etsy or /Etsy.com. I am also going to start selling the physical craft, meaning a craft kit with everything already printed for you. So all you have to do is the gluing and putting together so that you can have more time for decorating if you don't like the putting together part. If you like this tutorial, please like it. And if you want to see more like it, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you can see when I post new videos. Thanks a bunch. Have a fun time crafting.